A Choja Warrior is another great morning together. I am thankful, grateful for you giving me a little bit of your time today as we continue chasing happiness by rising to the challenge. Today we're going to talk about how do you prepare for change. And the reason that's important is I believe in the preparation is the magic. That's where you go from thinking this is a good idea, as in this is a noble idea, as in this would be a cool thing if it could happen, to I think I can do this, to this makes sense, to let's get started. And so I think if we prepare the right way, then we're able to embrace that change that we're trying to make. So when you're talking about listening to your inner self, that's where happiness comes from the inside as you are listening to that inner drumbeat. It is a question of what do I have to do to get from where I'm at to where I want to be? And I want to give you a couple examples just to get started. So, if you're a parent and you are going to take your kids somewhere, how much preparation, like what do you have to do to make sure that your trip is a great trip? Most likely, you're going to pack diaper bags. You're going to make sure there's drinks and snacks and diapers and wipes. You got to make sure there's all this stuff. And and you know if you're missing any of it, right? Even a change of clothes for the unexpected oops moments, right? Like there is a lot that goes into getting your kids ready and leaving as a parent. If you are traveling and you're leaving from somewhere hot to somewhere cold, what goes into your preparation? What do you have to do to prepare for that change? Then you would most likely, if you're like me in Florida, you may not have clothes that are meant to be worn in 0 degree weather. So you have to go and buy some new clothes so that you're able to actually survive out there. If you have the clothes, then you just need to pack your suitcase and you need to get all this stuff ready, right? Like there is a preparation that takes place before any event is going to happen, and the preparation has a direct impact on how successful your event is going to be. And so when you are preparing for change, what have you done? What do you do? When you set a resolution, when you set a new goal, what do you do to prepare for it? And you find that a lot of people end up just starting. They just wake up one day and they just kind of get started and they just go from there. But I find that that is a very difficult space to operate from, that you have not taken any steps and you haven't really kind of built the foundation that's going to help you through that long journey, because you'll find that it is not always going to be like rainbows and skittles. There's things are going to get tough. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs and there's going to be questioning and there's going to be doubt and there's going to just be failures and setbacks, right? All of this is going to happen along the journey, but you really have to have that firm foundation for you to be willing to keep going. And so when you're thinking of like, and you know, I love using like comic book and mangas, which is a Japanese comic. I love using those examples because it really helps to just drive home the point of what we're going through. And I think that that's part of the reason why everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people like these kind of movies, is because you can sort of see yourself in there where you're like, yeah, that could be me. I can do that. And so we're going to use Batman vs. Superman, right? The Dawn of Justice movie. And the scene around the end, right, the climax where Batman and Superman are fighting, it's very clear that Superman just kind of shows up, right? He's like, I'm Superman. Don't worry about me. I got this. I just do me, and life is good. There's a problem. Point me in the direction. I'll solve it. And then Batman, on the other end, he has prepared for this battle, and it becomes clear the longer that they fight, right? He's got like canisters with like kryptonite kind of in the air where Superman's breathing it in and then he's losing his powers for a little bit. He's got a spear that has a shard of kryptonite, and obviously he went and found the kryptonite in the first place. Like he took a lot of steps to prepare for this battle. And we haven't even talked about the fact that he has essentially an Iron Man suit, but it's a Batman suit where he's able to take a lot of damage. And so he's done almost everything that he could think of to give himself even the smallest chance to succeed. And it feels like if you were probably talking to him, you would probably say two things. One is you'd be like, look, Batman, I don't know if you know, Superman's not human. He's kind of got this thing of invincibility. You're not just going to like kick him and throw like darts at him. Like that's just not how this is going to work. And two, you're kind of old and you're not in the best shape, and you just may want to stay down, right? Like I could just imagine if he had a conversation with a friend, that'd be a very difficult process. And three, just for the bonus, they'll be like, dude, you've been like preparing for this for like days. Like, get over it. Like, this is not going to happen. You're basically saying that you need to fight, and someone that's flying, you want to get him in this building, and then you need to somehow get to the bottom floor where the spear is at. Like, this seems like a lot of hope, right? Like, if he's just in one building over, you're going to be in a hard place, right? Like, you've done a lot of preparation, and it doesn't look that good from this vantage point, right? But then Batman's in there like, well, I'm preparing to win, right? There is a change that I feel needs to be made, and if I'm going to succeed, then this is the only way that I can succeed. And while it looks like I have to do a lot, and I'm not saying that it's not necessarily a lot, but I'm saying the task that I'm trying to create is a big ask, right? And so if someone is going to beat Superman, who is not also somehow enhanced with some superpower, then I have to do a lot of preparation to give myself even the smallest chance. And yes, if there is a small sliver of change in the plan, then the chance of success is like slim, right? Like I totally get it. But with that said, this is what I'm doing. I'm preparing for it. We're going to see what happens. And so I'd imagine Batman, right, for like days or weeks, he's preparing, he's laying everything in place, he's thinking everything out, and he's like, okay, let's go for this. And then they're fighting, and he's losing, and then he's winning, and then he's losing, and he's winning, and then he's winning. And you have to ask yourself, right, like you are essentially, you're Batman, and the goal that you want to set for yourself is a noble one. It's something amazing that you want to do that's going to help the entire world from your perspective, at least your immediate world. And then Superman in this story is going to be your obstacle. It's going to be your challenge. And you are going to overcome this challenge through your preparation. You have to prepare for the change. You have to take the time to understand that if some things happen, then you have to have contingencies along the way. That you can't just say, okay, I'm going to go at Superman with a spear because I know if I stab him, then he's going to die. I get it. But a lot of things have to happen before that. And you have to look at your obstacles as you're preparing for change the same way. Like if you were trying to create a positive change in your life, then you cannot just wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm just going to go do this. Right? Like there is a steps that have to go into place, right? If your plan is to find a new career, then you would have to take some time to say, okay, what does that new position look like? And then when I know what that position looks like, what kind of experience, certifications, education do they have to get that? So you go research the position to see what they're looking for, and then you compare that with what you have, and then you decide whether or not you need to add something. And if you need to add something, then you have to figure out how you're going to fund it. How are you going to study for it? Where are you going to study at? Is it going to be self-paced at home? Is it going to be in a digital community? Or is it going to be at your local college in like a night class? These are all decisions that you have to make before you have even put your name on the resume, right? Like you're still preparing just to apply for the position. And so then when you have everything checked off, then you're starting to now, let's update the resume. Okay, what are they looking for in this position, and what skills have I gained that I can highlight when I'm filling this out? And then as you go through that process, then you have to start saying, okay, where am I willing to move to? How much am I asking for in a salary? How will this affect my family? Do I have support? Do I have an emergency fund if something happens, right? Like all of these have to go into that one plan of applying to a job. And often what many of us do is we just say, you know, I got a resume. I'm just going to update with the current job I have, and I'm just going to send it. And if it's meant for me, then it will work out. I get it. But what I will tell you is that is often the plan that people make when they are worried that it's not going to work out. So it's like, hey, I haven't invested anything emotionally in this. It may work out. It may not. At least I tried. But I have found that's not how that works. If you haven't invested anything emotionally in it, then why expect a lot? Right? To simply just go out there and apply, and when there's someone else out there who's preparing the way that we just talked, why would that work? And it wouldn't, and it doesn't. And so we're judging the results based off of, well, that's not for me, instead of basing it off of the effort. Have I put in the effort to get the result that I want? And then another book I read, Think and Grow Rich, is actually a pretty cool book that I often enjoy. I actually read it a handful of times because it was like when you read certain things, you just gain a little more. Well, he's got this one story in there where he's talking about this person that's applying for like a job, entry level, getting out of college, and his mom helped him create essentially like a blueprint. So what he did is the guy went to go get the job, and they went and looked at some, like it was a marketing department, and his mom was researching competitors, and she was helping him put together this entire presentation that had to do with what the competitors are doing and how they could beat them. And it was probably like maybe a 10 to 20 bullet checklist of basically, if you give me this job, this is what I'm going to do from day one, and this is exactly what's going to get you these results. This is where the market's at. This is what you're doing well. This is what you could be doing better. And I mean, that's a lot, right? Like, that's a lot to do to get even an interview, right? You haven't even gotten a call back. Well, the person ended up getting not the job that they applied for. They actually ended up getting like a head job. Like, they were able to skip 2, 3, 4 levels on the ladder because they had such a clear vision of what they were trying to accomplish. And so when the person was hired, it was like, well, I already know what you're going to do. You're going to do this checklist, and it looks really good, and it has a lot of facts and figures. And I think if you could just implement this, that we would be doing really well as a company. And so I'm telling you all this because if you want to get the results, if you want to overcome that obstacle, that Superman in your life, then you have to invest in the preparation to conquer such a feat, right? Like, we reap what we sow. We have to put in the effort to get the result. And oftentimes we're so worried about rejection and failure and judgment that we want to be able to say, oh, I just tried it. It wasn't a big deal. It didn't work out. No sweat off my back. Like, we don't want people to know that we invested in this because we truly believed it was going to happen. And then when it doesn't happen, we just simply are saying, you know what, I learned something from that, and I'm going to do it again. And then people are going to be like, well, you spent a lot of time on that and nothing transpired. So, you look dumb. You look like you wasted time. That the dreaded I told you so. But if you allow that to keep you from putting in the effort that you know is necessary to overcome that obstacle, you don't really deserve the life that you're trying to create. You got to put the effort in. And I don't care whether it has to do with a job, or it has to do with a relationship, or whether it has to do with your spirituality. Like, whatever it is, you have to put in the effort to get the result. You have to invest enough ingredients in the pie for someone to bake it. Right, we can't go in and say, I want apple pie, and nobody has apples, right? We got to put the ingredients in to at least give us a chance. Some of you are saying, I can't bake, and you haven't even gotten any of the ingredients. So I'm saying that you can't worry about that. You cannot allow the fear of failure and you trying to hedge looking like a fool because you failed with the idea that now I haven't even given myself a chance to succeed. Please do not do that. As we are chasing happiness, you got to rise to the challenge. And as I say fairly often, is my mantra is a better self equals better wealth. Like, you have to invest in yourself, grow in yourself, and to do more for others for that to equate to generating the better wealth. So they're hand in hand. And so I just encourage you guys to rise to that challenge. Whatever goal you have set for yourself, let's put the plan in place. Let's invest in that reality. And you'll find that it will help you to truly go from, that would be nice, to, I think we can do this. And there is little feeling that feels much better than that. I'm always thankful for our time together. If you guys like this, then go ahead, like, comment, share, make a note. I'll be in the community. I'll engage back with you. I'm always thankful for our time together. Continued blessings on your journey to become the champion of your dream life.